The miracle of feeding the 5,000. As the sun sank lower in the sky, the disciples grew restless. They were worried. The crowd had been with them all day, and it was getting late. Approaching Jesus, they whispered their concerns. "Master, it's getting late, and we're in a remote place. We should send the crowds away so they can go to the nearby villages and countryside to buy food for themselves." But Jesus turned to them and replied, "You give them something to eat." The disciples exchanged puzzled glances. Had they heard correctly? One of them finally said, "Even if we wanted to feed them, it would take more than half a year's wages to buy enough food for all these people. We can't possibly do this." Jesus, unbothered by their earthly reasoning, asked a simple yet profound question. "What do you have? Go and see." The disciples began searching their small supplies, perhaps asking others around them. At last, they returned and said, "All we could find are 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish." The disciples couldn't see a solution. Their minds were fixed on the size of the problem: thousands of people and barely enough food for a single family. But Jesus saw something different. He saw heaven's unlimited resources, ready to meet the need. "Have the people sit down." Taking the 5 loaves and 2 fish into his hands, Jesus lifted his gaze beyond earthly limits to his Father's kingdom, a place of infinite provision. In that moment, he saw abundance, a heavenly pantry overflowing with resources. He thanked his Father for access to the kingdom's bounty, blessed the food, and began breaking the loaves and fish. Jesus handed the food to the disciples, who watched in disbelief as the small amount in his hands never seemed to run out. They carried it into the crowd, distributing it until everyone had eaten and was satisfied. When the meal was over, the disciples collected 12 baskets of leftovers, far more than what they had started with. This miracle was more than a demonstration of power. It revealed a profound heavenly principle. Jesus was teaching an eternal truth: trust in God's abundance by transforming 5 loaves and 2 fish into a feast, highlighting the power of faith and the potential in small resources. Sometimes what you have in your hands may seem insignificant compared to the problem you face, but that small thing can be the key to the solution. The disciples saw lack: 5 loaves and 2 fish that could never feed thousands. But Jesus saw potential. He wanted them to understand that when we take what little we have and place it in God's hands, it becomes more than enough. It's not about the size of what you have. It's about the power of heaven that can multiply it. While the disciples focused on the problem through an earthly mindset, limited food, too many people, and no clear solution, Jesus demonstrated a kingdom mindset, a mindset that doesn't dwell on lack, but instead trusts in heaven's abundance.